Out. Okay, good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us this evening for what we hope will be an interesting and inspiring look at the New Style Pony Club quiz. We've got another slide to come up. Right, this is our team. I'm not going to read through all the blurb on there because you will have the opportunity to have a look at it when the presentation's been recorded and put up on the Pony Club's YouTube channel. So you can have a little more in-depth look at all of us then. But for now, I'll just introduce myself. I'm Ruth Tarry. I'm currently the quiz lead and the font of all quiz-related knowledge for this evening. Ellie, who's also on the screen with us, is the Sports Development Officer based at Pony Club HQ. And she's the amazing person making the quiz and horse and pony care happen from the office side of the team. Then Amelia, I know is familiar to a lot of you, as she's also the horse and pony care lead. And she's been giving us her experience and vast knowledge on the quiz team as well. And then Claire Valerie, who's the vice chairman, and along with the rest of the committee, have all been instrumental in making the quiz get to where it is today. Right. What are we covering this evening? Well, what the Pony Club quiz is, we're going to go through running of the day, teams, rounds, questions, scoring, training, rules, qualifications, results, and of course the national final. We'll also have time for questions, as Ellie just said, because it's a webinar, because there's so many, thankfully, of you here today. If you can pop any questions you have in the chat box, we'll have a look at them when we get to the chat box. Feel free to pop your questions in as they pop into your mind. Hopefully we'll be able to cover them in what we go through. And if it's been covered, then obviously we won't go through it when we look through the box, but we'll go through the quiz question box at the end and hopefully cover off everything that you have concerns about. Right, what is the Dobson and Horrell Pony Club quiz? It's an inclusive competition for all of our branch and centre members, and it just provides a chance for our members to test their knowledge in a fun and friendly team environment. After the fantastic success of our New Style quiz earlier this year, we're continuing to run this format. And for anyone who's new to the quiz this year, we wanted it to be a fun competition. So we brought in a games format, with each round being a different game or activity. In the past, the quiz was a sit at tables and answer questions competition, but not anymore. Of course, there'll still be a couple of question and answer rounds, but on the whole, the games will be much more interactive and ensure that all team members get involved. Our goal is to have as many branch and centre teams taking part as possible. And even bigger than that, we're hoping that the games format will inspire all the coaches out there to make as much of our horse care learning as fun as possible. We've currently got 2 levels, mini and junior senior, which we'll go into in a little bit more depth in a minute. It's meant to be the winter competition sister to the Blue Cross Horse and Pony Care. The syllabus and round topics will be taken from the efficiency certificates and the achievement badges, meaning that the levels can be easily pitched for each section, and any winter horse care or test training is essentially quiz training. The areas in the final will take place in the spring of each year. And from 2025, there'll be a senior level added. The ages and levels will be the same as horse and pony care. We'll announce that change next summer, so you'll hear more about it then. Okay, running of the day. When it comes to actually being at the competition, you'll arrive and sign in and be given your team number. Then all of the competitors will be briefed before the start of the competition. And when you walk into the room, there'll be lots of tables, each with a number, and you'll start at the number your team has been allocated. So for example, if you are team number 4, you'll start at table 4, then you'll move on to table 5 and keep going through the numbers until you finish on table 3. Each round will take 10 minutes in total. There'll be 2 minutes to move between the tables and see what the game is, and then 8 minutes to complete the game. There will be a bell or a whistle to indicate the start and finish of each game, and the 2 minutes in between will kind of take care of themselves. there will also be a 2-minute warning towards the end of each round. So you'll know that you're getting close to the end of the round. The mini section will have 6 rounds, meaning a total competition time of an hour. The junior seniors will have 8 rounds, giving a total time of an hour and 20 minutes. Each area organizer is able to add rounds if they wish to. So for example, if an area was to have 9 teams entered in the junior senior, it makes it easier to run 9 tables than to have a staggered start. Each area organizer will be given all the round information and they will choose which rounds to use. So you, the competitors, will only know which rounds will be in your area on the day. So make sure you've trained all the topics, as you'll not know which ones will come up on until the quiz day. We are recommending, from a clothing point of view, that you're comfortable. So it's pony club sweatshirts, jacket, polo shirt, and just comfortable shoes and trousers. You don't have to be in riding wear, and you don't need to be wearing riding boots and hats. Teams, levels, and ages. So, as I've already said, we have the 2 sections currently, the mini competition and the junior senior competition. We're keeping the age split in line with horse and pony care, and we will be adding that senior section from 2025 so that we have all 3 levels. The mini section will be teams of 4, ages to be 10 and under on the 1st of January of competition year, with 1 member to be 8 and under. The junior senior section is also teams of 4 and must have 2 junior members aged to be 13 years and under, and then 2 of any age up to 25. All teams can be made up with 1 member only who has also competed at another level in this year's competition, provided that they're eligible. Complete teams may not compete at more than 1 level. In reality, this means that if a branch with an enthusiastic mini and not enough junior senior members, the mini can take part in both sections. Just keep in mind that it could be a long and intense day for that particular member. We feel that teams of 4 are best, but if you only have 3 members, you can substitute another member made up, oh, hang on, I've read the wrong line. Yeah, there we go. From another local branch or centre to make up the team. Indeed, even area teams are able to be made up of 2 or more branches or centres. The area rep and DC or centre proprietor must give their permission for the teams to be put together, but that's something that we're encouraging to include as many people as possible in the quiz moving forward. And also, if somebody drops out at the last minute and you only have 3 members, still attend. It's not absolutely compulsory to have 4 members, and the rest of the team will just have to work that little bit harder, but they can still compete. There's going to be, or there is already, a new combined horse and pony care and quiz rulebook, which will be available with the 2024 revisions of all the rulebooks, which is available to purchase in hard copy and for download on the website from January the 1st, I believe. So a lot of these sorts of details will be in that rulebook. Overall, our goal is that while some rounds will need specific training on how to take part, such as things like charades, in the course of a winter's horse and pony care training, you'll cover the subjects and no specific quiz training is required to be able to take part. I'm very aware that a lot of you do specific quiz training, and I've added some training tips as we cover the rounds, which hopefully you'll find useful or already doing. Games are such a fun way of teaching horse care, and I'm hoping that be able to incorporate these into your regular horse care training to keep it as fun as possible. I also don't like bribing with sweets, but I probably shouldn't say that out loud. Right, rounds. Rounds, questions, and scoring. The general format of the quiz is to have a minimum of 2 question rounds, 1 to 3 activity games, 1 or 2 word games, and anywhere between 1 and 4 ID rounds to choose from. And then with a minimum of 1 or 2 from each category to be chosen by each area organizer. And that's how we're kind of structuring how the quiz is put together. You'll be able to see that in a better layout once we start adding all the rounds to the rule book. At the moment, it's not as easy to see it because we've got only obviously 1 year's worth of quiz rounds to look at from the past. Who writes the questions? Well, me. I'm a Pony Club coach, A-test holder. I've been assessing B-tests for more than 10 years. And I'm a BHS accredited coach. And I have a wonderful team of ex-international quiz team members to give us a good breadth and depth of knowledge and experience. And then obviously the quiz committee check the questions and answers and make sure that we've made them right. With regards to the standard of questions, there'll continue to be transparency. As for the mini section, the questions will be based on the care and riding sections of the E, D, and easier parts of the D+ efficiency test cards and the mini horsemanship achievement badges. At the final, a number of the questions will cover all of the D+ syllabus. Then for the junior senior section, the questions will be based on the care and riding sections of the C and C+ and easier parts of the B test efficiency cards, and then the standard achievement badges. At the final, a number of questions will cover the advanced achievement badges and all of the B test syllabus. After taking the feedback from this year's quiz into consideration, the scoring has been brought in line with the horse and pony care, where each round will have a total points available of 50. The answer sheets will all have the questions on them as well as the answers. So when you get your sheets back, you'll be able to see what the question was, not just the answer. The individual round will be marked by taking the top 3 scores from the team and averaging those scores to get a team score between 0 and 50. The Pony Club round will be used as a tiebreaker if and when that's required. Okay, now the bit that you've probably all been waiting for, the ins and outs of all the individual rounds. So there will be 2 question rounds, and they will be 10 questions with multiple choice answers. There'll be 2 levels, obviously, the mini and the junior senior, and the topics will be the same. So we're going to have a Pony Club round where there'll be questions based on the structure, governance, history, competitions, tests and badges. And it's all information that can be found on the Pony Club website. And then we've also got learning theory, where the questions will be based on the learning theory section of the efficiency tests and badges. And those are for both the mini and junior senior. And then for junior senior only, there will also be a round on worm control, where the questions will be based on the relevant sections of the test syllabus and the badges. As I said before, it's up to the organisers which ones they take. However, I will let you know now, the Pony Club, because it's the tiebreaker round, will be in every single area quiz. Training tip. If you go to the website and download last year's Pony Club rounds, that is a really good resource of questions and answers. If you're new to learning theory, or it's something you feel you haven't quite got your head around yet, working through the badges is the best place to start, because we've got a mini, an achievement and an advanced badge on learning theory. You'll also be able to find a document called the Updated Test Resources 2023. So this is on the Pony Club website. If you go to coaches, then coach resources, tests and badges, and follow that through, work your way down, and then you'll see this updated test resources. It's got great many links, brilliant titles to read, and videos to watch that will give you a good grounding in the subject. Okay, activity games. Both mini and junior senior are going to be doing guess the item. This is where we have equestrian items based in a non-see-through bag, and competitors feel through the bag and guess what the item is. This is one of the rounds where every team member will take part, because only the person feeling the item will be able to guess what it is. There'll be 12 items in bags or pillowcases on the table, and each team member will select 3 bags to feel, and they're all numbered, and guess what the item is. Once that particular team member has put their hand onto the bag, no other team member may put their hand on the bag. So it's only the person guessing that will get to give it a guess at what it is. That will ensure that every team member is a valuable part of the team and feels like they have contributed to the team score. It will be scored as a team round, not as an individual round, so everybody will contribute those 3 or 4 points. Examples, all the items will be coming from the Blue Cross badges. So some easy ones are a body brush, a hoof pick, a stirrup iron. From a training point of view, actually practicing what an item is by feel is really important. So by either being blindfolded or feeling through a bag, just practicing that, I think, is the main thing. But also, each competitor will have 2 minutes of the competition to guess their 3 items. So practicing doing that within 3 minutes will help with any sort of time frame pressure. Right. Charades. It's probably a good job this is recorded because I talk very fast. Anyway, charades. So this year, we are giving the minis a chance to have a go at charades because it was the junior seniors that did it last year and almost unanimously everybody loved it and it was great fun and the minis wanted to have a go, so we've decided they could. It's a pretty classic game. Each member of the team takes turns to act out a word or phrase. The actor must not speak while the rest of the team try to guess what the word or phrase is, and the rest of the team can shout out as many guesses as they want. The team earn points for each correct guess and keep trying new words or phrases until the time runs out. If a player passes on a word or phrase, the team can't go back to that one. There will be 20 words or phrases available and they'll be shown to each team in the same order. So maximum points will be to get all 20. This is something that does need practice. To be really good at it, you do need to practice it. And having common signs for things like holding up fingers for the number of words. It's also a good idea to have a signal for when your team's going the right way or the wrong way. Could be as simple as a thumbs up or a thumbs down, or a nod or a shake of the head, but just to help guide the team if they're going down the right direction. There are lots of things you can do to practice. So just try and pop in a round of charades into each training session and it gets everybody laughing too. Okay, audio visual. For the minis, we're going to have an audio visual round. In reality, that means that for the areas, it'll be pictures. And the topic is handling and leading. And there'll be pictures or video clips. And I'm pretty sure that if we use video clips, it'll probably be at the final because the infrastructure to produce video clips is quite hard to get together. So I'm not sure that we'll put that forward for the areas this year. We might ask a bit of feedback as to how easy they would find it for the future. But anyway, it will be scenarios based around handling and leading, and the competitors will need to identify any unsafe practices and or answer questions based on the photo or the video clip. So really, from a practice point of view, it's a case of maybe get one of your team members to do something wrong and the others watch them as they walk up or turn, or in just handling, bringing in, turning out, picking out feet, grooming, all those sorts of things. You could perhaps have a little pot with them different things, then they could just pick one card and go off and do it, and the rest of the members need to try and guess what they did that was wrong. Okay, junior senior version. This year, junior seniors are going to have a go at Pictionary. Again, a little bit like charades, relatively classic. One team member will be the artist and draw an item, and the rest of the team try to guess what they are drawing. Each team member will take turns to be the artist, and there'll be a list of items to work through. Again, the items are general knowledge, which means it will come from the syllabuses and badges. And another example are things like body brush, water bucket, saddle, or feeding a treat. It can be practiced as it is, or you can use things like Play-Doh or clay to build items. It's another way of just trying to vision what somebody is
Sorry about that one, everyone. I think we may have lost Ruth. I think we'll just give her a second to come back.
Get it in the same order.
Ruth, I think we lost you there. Could you go over that again, please?
All of it? Which part?
Um,
Which part did I disappear on? Should I just do the whole Pictionary?
Yeah.
Okay. So Pictionary is another classic. One team member will draw an item and the rest of the team try to guess what they are drawing or have drawn. Each team member will take turns to be the artist and there'll be a list of items to work through. The items will be general knowledge, which means it could be any item or action found throughout the syllabuses and badges. So like you can see here, the examples are a body brush, water bucket, saddle, feeding a treat, that sort of thing. It can be practiced as it is, but you could also practice using Play-Doh or clay, something like that, so that you can just take turns and practice guessing what something might be as it's emerging, and each other are making things. Did that come across all right? Good. So Taboo, it's a new one. We haven't played this one before. Players try to get their team to guess a word from the clues they give. The only catch is that there's a list of words that are taboo. Use one of them in your clue and you lose that point. For example, the word is saddle, but you can't use the following words in your clues: back, girth, or ride, or any form of those words. For us this year, the topic is rugs and bandages. So think of it as a descriptive task. And as a skill, it's important to be able to explain something in a number of different ways for as many people as possible to be able to understand it. And this game, hopefully, builds on those skills. And as this year's topic is rugs and bandages, a good way of practicing would be to work out what different ways of describing rugs, boots, bandages, and all the things that you can find across the syllabuses that fall into rugs and bandages without using those obvious words. You can kind of try and constrict how much you can say by saying, okay, it's a stable bandage, and we can't use the word stable, protect, and bandage, and see what the members can come up with from a description point of view. Mini word games, or should I say moving on to word games. For minis, we've got alphabet soup. Again, general knowledge. So there'll be a sheet with the alphabet on it, and next to each letter, a clue as to the word. Teams have to work out the word and write it onto the sheet. For example, B. What B is used to clean a pony? And the answer would be brush. As before, all the questions will be suitable for the level and will only be on things covered by the appropriate tests and badges. We're going to put a crossword puzzle in this year. This year it's care of the foot, and there'll be clues for each line vertically and horizontally. All the competition teams can have help with their spelling, so don't panic from that point of view. Whoever is running the table, or we'll make sure there's an extra person who can scribe for them and help them with their spelling. There are many crossword generating websites out there, so you can have a go at putting together your own crosswords from the point of view of practicing, or just write them out on a piece of paper if you've had experience in doing that kind of thing to practice. Just simply coming up with answers to clues will help in this. Obviously, as the more you get, the easier it becomes because you have more letters to help you. Okay, junior, senior word games. They will also be getting a crossword puzzle, and the topic is feeding this year. Again, the clues will be put together for both vertically and horizontally. Training tip is exactly the same. Go and make your own and play around with it, really. The other one is crazy horse parts. So this is essentially more of a play on words. There'll be a clue to the horse part. So for example, top of a wave is a crest. And a way of training for this would be to reverse the process. So take a body part and see if the members can come up with other meanings for it. So for example, mane, a male lion's hair, that kind of idea. and it will just hopefully help them think along those lines. And ideally, the crazier the better. So then we move on to the ID rounds. Yard safety is the first one. There'll be an image of a yard with various hazards, and the hazards need to be identified on the image. This is one where you can ask your members to draw hazards around their yard, or even go outside if the weather's good enough and build a yard with hazards. Maybe clean it out, put things out that could be a problem, and then ask them to identify them, or relay the yard in a way that would be safer. Odd one out. This is being taken from the Blue Cross mini badges. It will be lists of 3 or 4 items, each belonging to a category. One will not belong and needs to be identified. All the lists will be from within the Blue Cross badges, like I said. Training tip, a good way to practice with this would be sort of a quick fire round, where the coach or instructor calls out 3 or 4 linked items with one that doesn't match, and the members have to shout out the odd one. And you can give sweets or stickers or something to the person that shouts out the correct one to encourage them to get in there and shout out. Right, our final one is points of tack. This will be an image, like an outline image with lines that need to be labelled. It's a relatively straightforward one. It's just all about describing, talking over the points of tack, and then being able to regurgitate it onto the piece of paper, really. Something that is really helpful from long term as a coach is to put the points or the items onto little magnetic strips, print them out, laminate them and stick them on magnetic strips. Then you can put your image onto a magnetic board and the members can label them, but you can reuse it rather than having to print out and write time and time again. The junior ID rounds are going to be what's my name. Now that is for shoeing this year, and it will be either a photo of an item or a clue will be given, and then the answer needs to be supplied. So for example, I'm used to lift the clenches before the shoe is removed, and the answer would be a buffer. So it'd either be the question or the clue or a picture. So some will be pictures, some will be clues. Odd one out, same as before, lists of 3 or 4 items belonging to a category. One will not belong, it needs to be identified. All of the lists will be from within the Blue Cross badges again. Points of tack will be the same, but obviously harder. So it's an image that the points that are identified will need to be labelled. And then green thumb is grasses, trees and poisonous plants. This will be photographs or specimens to be identified. It's easy to find images of grasses and poisonous plants online. Print them out, have them discussed, place in categories, not poisonous, poisonous, that kind of stuff. That's quite a fun one. Depending on the weather, you can go out and find specimens. Slightly harder, I admit, in the winter when there's not so much grass, especially grass in seed, but you can go and look in hay. Hay is a good place to go and find different grasses. So that's pretty much all the rounds. I have noticed there's quite a few questions. I was wondering whether it would be worth just going through to see while we're thinking about rounds. So there's somebody saying no. So within the individual round, so the guess the item round will be within the syllabus. So the idea of the syllabus, the level that we're taking it to, shouldn't be overstretching the juniors. It will be relative potluck which bags the senior or junior members take, but I don't think it'll be overstretching them. Don't worry about that. Oh my goodness, it's gone. Oh, it's disappeared. I see. Okay. For 2025, what about the senior members to stay involved? We'll answer that in a minute, don't worry. Just to confirm, centres and branches, same team. Yes, see, centres and branches can compete in the same team for the quiz if it's to make up a team. We are all about encouraging as many people as possible. So if you've got one person from a centre or a branch that doesn't have a team and another branch or centre that does have a team, they can be combined.
Can I just jump in there, Ruth?
Yeah, sorry, Amelia, go for it.
I think for the quiz, the centres have to go with centres and the branches have to go with branches, because it's two separate competitions when we get to the finals. So they can combine, but I think if centre members or branch members are going in either teams, then they would need to be centre members for centre and branch for branch. At the horse and pony care, they could combine centre and branch together.
Okay, we need to make sure we cover that in the rule book, don't we?
Yeah.
Okay. Only 10 questions. How's it marked out of 50? Each question will be worth 5 marks. Yes. Ruth Owen, I agree. Hopefully it won't be out of date. We endeavour, we do have vets on our question writing team as well. So we endeavour to keep everything as up to date as possible. I don't know about, Ellie might have to answer the question about the poster for the important dates and timelines. I feel like that is something that could be downloaded on the website. So I'm not sure if it's something that is in large print to order, but it's certainly something that can be printed out from the website.
Yeah, I've definitely got it in a download. I'm not sure it's large, but I've definitely got that poster on my computer. So I think it can be. I don't know how I've got it, but I've definitely got it.
I'll have a look into it, and then
because I've got
if anyone that wants it can email quiz@pcuk.org, and then hopefully by the time you email, I might be able to have found it.
Super. Hannah's asked, will we be allowed to talk for the guess the item round? You can talk to the person you are. So if you're feeling, you've got your bag, you're feeling something and you're wondering what it is, you can talk out loud, but the rest of the team can't help you with it. You are the person that has to come up with the answer. So you can talk out loud to help you figure it out, but your answer is the answer that the person running the round will take. Yes, the items between, for the guess the item, all the items in the mini competition will be different to the junior senior competition. Yes, and also if there are 3 members, they'll have 4 items each, and obviously they'll have a little bit more time to do that. Yes, we will be dividing the points by the number of bags. Charades isn't worth 20 points. There are 20 questions. And the point, it'll be 2.5 points per question. We're making from the point of view of somebody's asked, sometimes items are given a very specific name as a correct answer, but other options are available. Can you show all acceptable options? Yes, you can. Are the half points awarded for charades? Yes. Hang on. Oh, it keeps jumping around. Oh, alphabet soup. Sorry, I should have said there will be 20 letters, not 26. So some letters won't be in, but I can't tell you which letters it will be. And it will probably be different for seniors and minis, or junior seniors and minis. For the crossword puzzle, it will be 1 word. 1 word answers. For the Blue Cross badges, are they the ones needed to get the Blue Cross achievement badges, or do with the Blue Cross Horse and Pony Care competition? If you go to the badges pages on the website and click on the Blue Cross achievement badge syllabus, that gives you a list of all the Blue Cross Horse and Pony Care badges that you need to get to then be awarded that Blue Cross badge. And that's what we mean by the Blue Cross badges. So Emma has asked, will these come out on slides or email? So at the moment we've planned on recording this and putting it up on the Pony Club YouTube channel. If you would like it by email, well, you can certainly have it by email. Yes, we will. Somebody joined late and said, are we sending out a link so you can rewatch? Yes, we will do. Ellie, do you want to say anything?
Yeah, you'll be able to watch it again. It'll be on YouTube, and if anyone does want these slides, they can email quiz@pcuk.org and I will reply with the PDFs.
Super. Sorry, I made a mistake, and I did say that for the quiz, branches and centres could be combined. They can't, because we split the competition at the final. So teams need to be made up of branches or centre teams, but they can be from different branches or centres within the area, if that's the best way of combining a team or enabling as many children as want to take part. And I think Amelia can confirm that in Horse and Pony Care, branch and centre teams can now be combined. Is that right, Amelia?
Yes, that's correct. In the Horse and Pony Care, because that's one competition, a centre team, 2 members from a centre could join with 1 member from a branch, or vice versa. Yeah.
If you have a member away at university, they have to be there in person on the day. They can obviously train via Zoom, but to compete in the competition, they have to be there on the day. You say the topic for this year for the crossover final, for example, is care of the foot. Is that the same topic as the final, only areas? The topics will stay the same for the final. The questions will obviously change. We'll cover that in a minute, but they'll stay the same for the final. Okay, so it's in touch. So somebody said, I'm still a little unclear on the audio visual round. Could you give an example of audio that might be used? Audio, purely audio, will not be used. The room is a noisy environment when you've got all the tables and teams talking. So there won't be anything that's purely audio. It'll be visual as much. There may be a video clip, which might have a little bit of sound, but the sound will not be the important bit. The important bit will be the visual side of it. With regards, Holly has said, area 1 is split into north and south. Are we free to choose which we attend, as we're pretty much in the middle of the 2? I assume that's yes. That would be a question, I think, for your area organisers rather than us or your area rep. Can you please repeat the bit about the green sum? You can rewatch the video, but essentially the green sum is an identifying round for grasses, trees and poisonous plants. So it'll be photographs or specimens that you need to identify. Okay, now with that, we're getting into questions about the areas. I think we'll pause there on the questions, and we'll move on to talking about the actual competition, the area competitions and other parts, and then we'll come back to some more questions. So the next slide, area competitions. All the area competition information is on the Pony Club website as it becomes available. Most of it is there. If you go to quiz and then under area quiz, the most important thing to know is that the areas will be run on the 3rd of March 2024. If you want to know more about your specific area, or if you're a team manager, branch or centre parent, please contact your area organiser. And the contact details are, as you can see on this spreadsheet that's on the website. And if they're not known yet, they will be soon. Most of them have got their organisers set up, but there's a few that haven't yet. It's still relatively early in the season from the point of view of planning who's going to be running competitions for next year. So don't worry if your area hasn't got somebody agreed and planned to organise it yet, they will do soon. Volunteers. Now, this competition does require a lot of volunteers to help run. Each table needs 1 or 2 volunteers, meaning that the organisers need to find a minimum of sort of 6 to 12 volunteers for mini and at least 8 to 16 volunteers to be able to run it for the junior seniors. Now we appreciate that those numbers of volunteers are not easy to find, so we're making it a condition of entry that each team produces at least 1 volunteer. There'll be at least 1 adult with each team, so there shouldn't be a problem, and it does make the day much more fun for those adults. This year we had the volunteers also doing the scoring, but the feedback from everybody was that that was too stressful. So we're changing the scoring to be done by dedicated scorers. So each volunteer will just be running the round. The feedback from parents and helpers who did volunteer this year was really positive, and it was much enjoyed. Don't be afraid of putting yourself forward or encouraging others to do so. Everything you need will be given to you and explained, and no equine knowledge is required. It was good fun, so please do consider helping. Qualifiers. This is an important bit too. At the areas, both branch and centre teams will compete together in one section. The results will be posted onto the Pony Club results. Some areas may manage to do that live, some won't. It'll just depend on their internet connection for each competition. The highest placed branch and centre team will qualify for the national final. Additionally, any area that has 10 or more teams competing in the whole section, which is combined branch and centres together, will receive an additional qualifying space for the final. And any area that has 15 or more teams competing in the whole section will have 2 additional qualifying spaces for the national final. If the highest placed branch or centre from the area is not in a qualifying space, they will also receive a qualifying space. So that basically just means that if you had 15 teams in the competition in the area, and the first 3 were either a branch or a centre, the 4th place team as the highest placed branch or centre would get a qualifying place as well. After the highest placed branch and centre teams, additional spaces will be awarded on the scores that were closest to the team placed first, regardless of whether they're a branch or a centre. When you have qualified for the final, you'll need to enter the team and also nominate who your volunteer will be on that day. Then we move on to the final. So the final will be on the 20th of April, 2024 at Sheffield Wednesday Football Club. At the final, there'll be 8 rounds chosen for both senior and for minis. They'll be chosen from the topics given to you for this year. There will be a different word game added. It's called the hexagonal tarsia, which is a word matching game. Some of you will have probably already seen it and done it at Horse and Pony Care. And we will also add a jigsaw puzzle. The topic will be from within those already given to areas, so nothing new to learn. All the questions will be different at the areas, and some will also be harder, as I mentioned earlier. But the format of the games will be the same. And as somebody asked, where a round such as the jigsaw puzzle has been either care of the foot or feeding, that will stay the same. It'll just be different questions. As the hexagonal tarsia is a slightly different thing that you won't have had a chance to practice, we will put a copy of that onto the website for you to download and practice with. Obviously, it won't be the same subject as the final, but it will give you an opportunity to suss out how it works. All teams present at the final must have competed at an area qualifier. Substitutions may be made up until 9 AM on the morning of the final competition. Prior notification must be given to the Pony Club office. and competitors must take part in all sections of the competition. Hoodies and polo shirts will be available again this year, but at the moment we don't know the dates for getting orders in, but we'll put that information on the website as soon as we do. Entries will open straight after the areas and close on the 17th of March 2024. And at the final, the branches and centres will be split into separate sections for placings and prizes. And the results will be uploaded live to Pony Club Results as we did this year. And we're hoping to be able to have some screens to have that on as well. We're also excited to be able to announce that Dobson and Horrow 2024 Pony Club National Quiz Final will also be hosting a new area senior friendly competition in 2024. So each area can form up to 2 teams with direct entry into the final quiz competition. Members competing in the junior senior section are also eligible to compete in the senior section. Senior teams consist of either 3 or 4 members aged under 25 and under on the 1st of January of the competition year. The questions, the topics and rounds will be the same as for the junior senior section, and the questions will be based on the care and riding sections of the B, B+, and A and AH efficiency test cards and the advanced achievement badges. We will put all this information on the website, and any new information that you need will also be put on the website as needed. So let's go back to questions, because I'm sure that will be covered. So for 2025, what about the senior members who have been able to stay involved up till now, with being part of a junior and senior mixed team? Yeah. And there's now branches, and a few older members won't be able to field a team of senior age members and also live geographically too far from other branches with possible seniors. So this is where we are having area teams being able to be put together. So the expectation is exactly that senior members, as you get older, you get less wanting to stay involved, but with the ability to create area teams, it's possible to put an area team together, whether that's centres or branches. And Amelia, it's a good point that it might be worth looking into whether we can combine centres and branches at that senior level to encourage more participation if it's needed. But that's something to look at maybe for the future, don't you agree?
Yeah, that's something we can look at and review after this year, yeah.
Somebody was talking about marking systems. So can you explain the marking system, please? If the team only have 3 members, as it's worked out by a percentage, and those who have 3 slightly older members are at an advantage to those with 4 and 1 quite a bit younger. Well, yes and no. So because we're taking 3 scores for the individual rounds, if somebody had a team with a younger member who happened to be, now I'm not going to say a younger member, I'm going to say a member with less knowledge of that round, because age doesn't always mean knowledge. You have the ability to obviously drop 1, if you're a team of 4, you have the ability to drop 1 score. So we're hoping that that will make it fair, with the age being as broad as it is in the junior senior section this year. With regards to the organising, yes, don't worry. If you are an organiser, you will get all the details and all the information as you did last year. We're also hoping, if people want it, but we'll probably do it anyway, to do a webinar a little bit like this for all organisers, specifically for organisers, probably in January, so that you can get a little bit more information about how to lay everything out. So don't worry, if you're an organiser, you will get all the information you need. Yes, very, very, anytime there's a video round or pictures, it will be, answers will all be written down. And if it's a verbal answer to the person looking after the table, that person will write it down verbatim. So whether how the competitor delivers it, it will still be written down as they've said it. How many items in Pictionary are there to go through? So same as charades, there'll be 20 items to work through, which will be worth 2.5 points each. and they will be listed in the same order and given to every team in the same order. And again, if you pass, whether it's in Pictionary or Charades, you cannot go back to anything you've passed, even if you've got time left over once you've done your 20 questions. Is that it? What ages are junior teams if seniors get direct entry to the final? So that's the direct entry to the final is for the senior friendly competition that we're running this year. Next year in 2024, we're just having an area senior friendly competition with direct entry to the final. It's not necessarily that it's going to be direct entry to the final for seniors across the board when we put the 3 sections in. There will still be a senior area competition in 2025. Covered that.
The junior senior section is still going to be called the junior senior section this year. So yes, seniors can still participate also in the junior senior section, as well as the separate senior friendly competition as well.
Thank you for clarifying that.
When we're talking this year, we're actually talking 2024.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's confusing at this time of the year, isn't
Looking
it?
to the future.
Has that covered that question for you? So Nikki, yes, you can send 4 of your AH members. Please do. We want as many older members who, if they are knowledgeable, the better, but we want to encourage the older members to keep being a part of it and being a part of Pony Club. So yes, there's no restrictions. It is any 3 or 4 members, 25 and under on the 1st of January. So yes, you can. Reasonable adjustment. You will need to, what's the form? There is a specific form to fill in that states what the particular child needs to help them through the competition, and we will endeavour to enable that to take part. The only thing that can't feasibly be given is extra time, but if it's a scribe or somebody to read for them, or earphones, and so ways that they can help themselves concentrate, because I do appreciate that when they go into that room, it's quite a noisy environment. So things like that can definitely be helped with, but I don't think we can change the amount of time it takes for them to complete each round. Okay. Again, don't panic. The final date is the 20th of April 2024 at Sheffield Wednesday Football Club. Don't forget, this has been recorded and will go up on the Pony Club YouTube channel. Also, dates of things like the final will be put on the website as well, so you'll be able to see that as well. Yeah, so no, you cannot. So somebody's saying, so can there be a 9, 9 and a 10 if we struggle to get 8 and under members in a mini team if scores for individual rounds are dropped? So no, you still need to field a mini team. You need a member who is 8 and under to be able to create that mini team. And I appreciate it can be tricky if you've got a group and they've sort of aged out of that category, but that is where combining forces with another branch is helpful, or pulling in somebody's little brother or sister. Yeah, okay. As Ellie has said, if there are any other questions, if you sort of sit down and think, oh dear, they didn't cover that, please do email us. We are here and happy to answer any questions. Just pop Ellie an email and we will get back to you as quickly as we can. Oh, complete newbie here. Are there any are there only area and the final competition, or are there other competitions throughout the year? It depends on where you live and whether your area runs it. The hope would be that areas would run friendly, so like tabletop quiz and horse and pony care competitions across the year. At the moment, I don't know of any that do that, but I'm sure there are some areas that do it. So ask your DC or your area rep and shout about it, and hopefully more competitions will be run.
Can I just add into that one? That's something that happens in our area, and we run in area 6 a friendly horse and pony care tabletop, and we run a friendly quiz in the build up to the quiz. And I think that's something that the the branches and the centres could host themselves. I know area 8 ran a horse and pony care friendly in the last half term, so it's encouraged, and it's a great way of getting your members started. So even if it's only a few local branches and centres get together, it is a good way of getting them started. So it's something that you could think about as everybody here on could you run a friendly at some point. November and January are quite good times, and then in preparation, or say any time in the year, but they can be good times. So yeah, South Trent friendly on the 14th of January.
And I appreciate that actually putting together the information for it can be quite hard. But just to let you on a little secret is we're building a resource, because each year we put the final information, the rounds, onto the website. So if anybody wanted to create a friendly competition, they can go to the Pony Club website and download last year's final rounds and use those or tweak those. So if you're worried about how to actually put it together, the information is there. And equally, if you want to run a competition and you're not too sure exactly how to put it together, drop us an email. We can help you.
Yeah, I agree with that. And there's also quite a lot of organisers within. I know that area 8 share questions with other areas in previous years. So it's definitely, I've shared questions for people. So if someone wants some help running a friendly, we can support you and help you in that direction. So just reach out to us.
Definitely. Somebody said, I think our teams will not be able to attend the finals, as most of them are still at a mounted games competition, but need to double check the dates. But I'd still like to encourage them to enter the area. Is that okay? Yes, please do. It's about the taking part. If they win and get to the finals and they can get there, brilliant. Even if they win and they can't get to the finals, it doesn't matter, because the next place team will be cock-a-hoop at getting a qualifying place. So it doesn't matter, just take part and enjoy it. Ooh, area 13 are running a friendly on the 22nd of December, and we have invited area 11 members too. Fantastic.
Going back to the mounted games team, you can substitute. You would need to have one member who's competed at the area, but I think the rule book states something like one member, but you could substitute. So there might be a way, if you say you did qualify for the finals and members were unable to attend, there would be a possibility for some substitutions.
Yeah. Good.
Does anyone else have any questions?
People are typing as fast as they possibly can right now.
Yeah.
Whilst they're just typing some more questions, one of the things that I thought I would just mention is that after Christmas, there's 9 weeks before the area. And what I do is I break it down into basically a 6-week program. And we do like rallies and get-togethers, and I break the subjects into a 6-week training program, and I create sort of the activities that are suggested, like the bags and the guest items. At the minute, I'm working through the achievement badges in the Blue Cross and the ones that are coming up, and then after Christmas we'll start practicing the actual rounds, and I've created quite a few fact sheets, sheets to go with it, so that you can, the members, can play with them. So if you're thinking about training a team, then break it down into sort of like a 6 weeks after Christmas is quite a good way of doing it. you know, on an evening or a weekend, depending on how you're sent or branch. But that's how we do it.
Brilliant. Thank you, Amelia. It's always a really good way of putting together a program to cover a syllabus, whether it's for tests or for a competition like this. Well, I think all that remains to be said now is thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. I hope you found it useful, and we look forward to seeing you at the areas and even the finals. Good night.
Thank you.